Previously on Color Guards.
Darrison impersonated a companion.
She's both beautiful and practical.
There you go.
She's a modern woman.
The Orzhov came to collect their debts.
As you watch as these tendrils of necrotic energy are pouring into his face and his throat, and you start to see his body start to rapidly age from the point of contact on down his throat.
Soboslav's pets emerged from the Undercity.
And up pushes this kind of like plant and fungus matter looking beast.
The party interrogated Van Cleve.
Tell us everything, or we can just put you back in the safe house.
What do you want to know?
Korak's Boros roots began to show.
I'm going to take my axe and I'm going to carve the Boros sign on its arm.
Tensions rise within the party.
The power grab by the Orzhov, the Azorius creating these devices is funded by Orzhov money.
Oh, you think you can
the
actually make a
corruption.
change in what's happening here?
Yeah, I think that we already know most people are against this. What are we going to do about it?
Join us this week on Color Guards.
Doesn't say it'd be like one of those.
Hello! Good evening and welcome to Color Guards. We are a Dungeons & Dragons live stream featuring an all LGBTQ cast and crew of adventurers and storytellers. And happy Pride Month, everybody! Woo! Soft claps for the microphones! Thank you all so much for joining us for our first stream of Pride Month, which is super, super exciting. First and foremost, before we get into tonight's episode, I do want to thank our fantastic director of photography, Zane, who knocked out that recap video that you all just saw for last week's episode 10 of Color Guards. I also do need to give a huge shout out to Arlington Citizen Media. Thank you so much for having me on this week to record with you guys for your next episode of your podcast. It was really, really exciting being able to talk Dungeons & Dragons, inclusion in storytelling and RPG settings, and more things. Please check out that episode whenever it does air for them. They are absolutely fantastic people, and I'm really, really excited to potentially get to work with them again. If you are still getting caught up on Color Guards and you've only recently started catching in with us, or if tonight is your very first night, welcome in. You can actually catch episodes 1 through 10 of Color Guards on our YouTube channel, Color Guards RPG, if you want to get caught up there. So we're going to continue uploading all of our episodes as we continue filming them, and put them up on our YouTube channel so you can continue following along from there. One other fun point of fact, we have finally named our campaign. So we are the Color Guards channel, and from this point forward, our game that we will be playing every Sunday night will be titled Renegades of Ravnica, Gilded Lies. That will tell you many of the things that you can expect to find every Sunday here at Color Guards at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And with that, we are going to go ahead and jump into the world of Ravnica with our aforementioned renegades here. Last we left off, the party was pretty divided on how they were going to handle things moving forward, having gotten a little bit more information about what to expect out of Matisse and where Matisse possibly could be, as well as what to do with all the information regarding how the Orzhov are connected, how Azorius is connected, and having decided to kind of blaze his own trail, Darrison left off last week planning a bit of a public protest and performance, oddly fitting for Pride Month, when the House of Zilzaxos, Lucian's own household, is planning a... Ooh, come on, mustache twirl. The House of Zilzaxos is planning a honoring ceremony for those members who helped defend the household and its many guests during the gala a few episodes ago. And of course, those that are being honored include Lucian himself, Korak, Thone, and not Luminitsa,
No.
as Luminitsa did not want to be named in such an endeavor. So rather, Luminitsa's boss, Amiri, is
Yeah.
getting the honoring, leaving Luminitsa to make her way through the crowd, watch
Yeah.
from afar,
Yeah.
and be a little bit more subterfugey on what's going on.
Yep.
So we last left off with the renegades meeting at their regular establishment of Alicia's. And we are going to fast forward a little bit to kind of the planning stages of the evening. So those of you that are being honored, the three of you arrive, and there is a small stage that is set up outside the gates of the Zilzaxos estate. They have the banners of your respective guilds blazoned across the front. There are two Orzhov banners, and in the middle a Gruul banner and a Selesnya banner. And you can see Mr. Zilzaxos himself, the master of the house, as well as a few other attendants and syndics in various well-maintained Orzhov robes. They're kind of attending to matters and getting everything prepped and ready to go. Little bits of a crowd are starting to form. However, it is not like full on. You've still probably got like 30 to 45 minutes before the ceremony is set to begin. So it's the people who are super early. Those people that are like, no, call time is this, wrong, 15 minutes ahead of that, let's go.
Okay.
So as you all are arriving, of course, your father is there seeing over everything, as he's going to be the master of ceremonies in awarding everybody their various things. But the two of you actually see the Great Mother, Noroa, is there in attendance. And where you originally anticipated likely your mother being a representative, you actually see, with his wolf companion by his side, your friend, Selene Volitharian, the elf member of the Ledev Guardians, is there to attend you for the honoring ceremony. So you all arrive here at that point. What would you guys like to do?
Great potential.
Well, I'm happy that Selene's here, not my mother, so that's great.
There you go.
I'm gonna go say hi to Selene.
He actually, he waves you down. He goes, Thone, I'm so glad to hear that you were able to be honored for this.
And I'm so glad that you were able to show up for it.
I may or may not have muscled your mother out of
You
this
have
position.
no idea how happy that makes me.
Well, I'm glad. I may have to lean on that happiness at some point, as she's definitely not happy with me. But the Ledev Guardians felt it necessary to show our faces when it came to people protecting others.
That's wonderful.
And she couldn't really...
My mother's
rebuff
never
us.
happy about anything, so that's fine.
He kind of like gives you a look around. He's like, you know, you're not wrong.
I'm gonna give him a big hug.
You
Thumb hug.
kind of pick him up, and as you do, his wolf steed gives you a big old lick across the side of your face.
Yeah.
As you do it.
So happy.
You can actually kind of see some of the like Orzhov syndics are kind of giving you kind of like what the faces. One of them kind of like whispers and like holds up his robes, and a little homunculus comes like one of the thrall flesh golems comes like crawling out with a rag and is like slightly wiping up some of the wolf spittle that like
Ew.
spilled on the ground on the stage. He's like, no, we can't.
Ew, golems.
It's hippies.
Correct. Noroa catches your eye, and bids you over and says, Korak, it's good to see you once more.
Great Mother.
I'm very pleased that they were willing to honor our people in this endeavor.
Anything that makes them look good, I suppose. I mean,
Even if it makes them look good, I'm glad that it makes us look better.
hopefully. I don't think others in the clans would agree, but
No. They can say what they want. At this point, it's clear that evidence shows otherwise.
of course.
Just kind of gives you a bit of nod. Your father walks right past you. Begins.
I'm used to this.
And begins addressing Amiri, who is nearby, looking absolutely fabulous. Just
Of course she does.
medals and jewels and golds and bangles and as many accessories as you could possibly fit on a body. She's got them
This bitch.
everywhere.
Yeah, basically.
She was like, "Oh, I'm getting a medal. Well, I guess I can find a spot in this outfit to fit a bit more of metal. It's
No.
fine."
I could see her just having this keyhole that she, like in her dress.
Exactly, it's
Just
ready
like-
for. Yeah, no, actually, there's the cutout right
Yeah.
there. She's just ready for it. Everywhere else looks absolutely like sparkling, and then she's just like, and this is where it will go. And your father begins addressing her, and she is lapping it up and kissing rings and kind of being a bit of like an obnoxious kiss ass when it comes to like getting praise from a higher up in the Orzhov. It's so exciting for her. Right around now, I would say, is when you kind of like arrive out
Okay.
from like an alley or like a side street, not like at the event yet,
Right.
but you arrive in time to just see Amiri kind of making a bit of an ass of herself,
Sounds
trying to like kiss up to the Orzhov. Because like she's getting honored, it's great, but also a big Orzhov is here.
Yeah, it's true. And she doesn't have the letter thing that I took.
Hey.
Yeah, so she has no clue that they know that she didn't do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine.
But as Amiri is kissing ass, you can kind of see your father have a bit of a snide look on his face as she does it. Just this feeling of knowing and this feeling of kind of like lording over her, like, yeah, absolutely, you're getting honored right now, 100%. Please kiss this ring. You didn't kiss it enough. And slowly but surely, the rest of the crowd starts to arrive and continue to fill out the main part of the street here in front of it, with all of you and all of your honoraries. There is no honorary for the Orzhov. Mr. Slzaxos will be handling that himself. But the other two, the other three, and your two honoraries are there right off of the stage. There's a very large, pardon me, there's a very large, or rather wide staircase that leads up the stage on top of it. It's kind of elaborately dressed for this ceremony. And you can see a podium of some sort. It looks a little more like altarish, probably something that you would see more at like the front of an Orzhov church than like a standing podium to like give a speech at. It looks a little too like preachy.
Over the top.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Do I feel like ominous about this, or is this like what's expected?
I don't know. How do you feel?
Can I do an insight check?
Yeah.
Do I expect like an altar to be on stage at this thing? That's just weird, right? Like I feel like that's weird. 14.
14. It feels very ostentatious.
And it's normal though.
And it feels like it feels like this isn't for them.
Okay.
Like it feels like this isn't for their sake.
Okay.
Sure, there is like banners in front that like mark their guilds.
It's all put on.
But this is this is a moment to claim that this is for others when this is solely selfish desires and.
Oh, I know that feeling so well.
I know, it's great. So everybody starts arriving and they're kind of like biding their time, and you all are just kind of like slightly waiting impatiently along the side of the stage. Lumi, as you're kind of like hanging back and just I assume you're kind of like looking over the
Yeah,
crowd.
yeah.
Just kind of like getting your bearings, seeing who's attending. Roll me a perception check.
A 13.
13. As you look over, you can start to see a few members of the, I guess what you would consider like the press of Ravnica, starting to gather close to the front of the stage. Two people in particular kind of like catch your eye.
Okay.
You see one that is a younger human man, kind of stereotypical newsboy cap, kind of cocked to the side.
Yeah.
He's not holding like a pad or anything,
Okay.
like to take notes or anything.
Okay.
But you do see kind of like a messenger bag slung across his chest
Okay.
at the ready. And the other that you catch is a slightly like stuffy looking human woman with this kind of like elaborate high-necked collar on, this vest over top of it. She's got like a very tiny set of spectacles set at the edge of her nose, and she's got this very longer than like a normal reporter's, no, but probably like half more on top of that, just obnoxiously long notebook at the ready, like quill in hand.
Yeah.
And you recognize this woman as somebody who has regularly put her nose in other people's business into it. You recognize this as one of the standard, more like tabloid, clickbaity journalists of Ravnica, Whitney White.
Whitney White. Okay.
And she is thus named for her like stark white hair that's in like a top bun.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit messy. She's absolutely obnoxious.
Okay.
But you see both of them kind of like hanging out towards the front of the crowd.
Okay.
Kind of like at the ready, waiting for the ceremony to begin.
Okay.
As you are looking over the crowd, you actually spot two different people that kind of like catch your eye, who are also kind of hanging back away from the crowd, similar to you.
Okay.
One of them is a fair-skinned human woman in well-preserved leathers, and a bluish hood, like kind of like a lighter blue, not like darker, demure, like you don't get demure vibes from it.
Okay.
But she does have like a few, like a lighter blue hood kind of like over her face, so she's kind of like leaned back up against a wall and kind of like keeping an eye on everything. And then the other at the far end, kind of like hanging out from a alleyway, you actually see Strigoi.
Okay. Ooh. Well, I don't want to talk to her. I'll go to the light blue woman and just kind of walk over to her and be like, so why are you here? Or like, who are you here for? Who are you here to celebrate for?
She goes, "Oh, I'm not celebrating."
Good. We have something in agreement then. So why are you here then? If you're not celebrating.
She just kind of like curiously looks you up and down. She goes, "And you are," and kind of like marks it the like the Orzhov symbols. I think at this point are you wearing your like your tithe taker clothes?
Yeah, I'll probably wear my tithe taker clothes so I can blend in. And I just like, I'm a Mary's date, so that's why I'm here.
She's kind of looks at it, she's like, "Oh, that."
Yeah, that woman.
That's.
Yeah.
She just kind of like takes a minute and like looks at the very obvious difference between at the ready and practical.
Yeah.
It's just like I
Date.
would not have guessed.
Date or bodyguard, I mean, it just depends on the day.
That's a fun arrangement.
It's interesting. I would have to say that. It's actually interesting. And sometimes entertaining. So there's that. So...
Wow.
So...
I'm gonna keep that in mind and get me one.
it keeps the day interesting. Especially when you... That. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better word for it than that.
She'll drown in all that gold one day, and it'll be her own doing. So, but it'll be interesting seeing it. Anyways,
There's
so,
just like kind of like a smirk from her, just like kind of taken aback by the brazenness, but like kind of about it.
yeah. So again, what are you here for?
Keeping my eyes out.
For?
Trouble, Orzhov, Demir.
Any trouble? What do you define trouble? You just said Orzhov and Demir. Are those trouble?
She just kind of like pulls back a bit of her like hooded cloak, like peeking out of it.
Yeah.
And you can see an Azorius symbol on the left side of her chest.
Oh. You are looking for trouble.
Gross.
Are you here for... are you looking for someone specific trouble? Or are you a free agent of your own?
Oh, not free.
Fair enough. So, okay.
She's like, I'm not free. He's not free. Just begins pointing at like all the people who wear gilded symbols. Be like, I mean, we're not.
Well, okay. There.
But
But...
I've already been in touch with some of the members from the Boros Legion who now have Van Cleave under hold and under lock and key. And it appears that some of the people up there might be partially responsible for that. I'm just curious and interested if Van Cleave's other compatriot might make himself known. So I'm waiting for, as we've said, trouble.
Fair enough. And... yeah, I mean... I don't know if that trouble will be here, but if you do come into that trouble, you might have a hand that can help you with such trouble, if you need it. I just need to be kept in the know.
I'll keep that in mind. She flicks you a Azorius Electrum piece.
Okay, and I just pocket it. I'm like, all right.
Just handing out money? Like, what?
Hey, money's money, man. That's what, 50 zips or whatever? I don't know, I'll just write it down. I'll write it down, I'll figure it out later. I'll count it
It's
later.
5 something.
And so I just like, okay, sure, cool. And
At this point, you start to see Mr. Zozaxos walk to the podium altar type thing. And you see the crowd start to kind of like hush and quiet over.
okay. Well then I think I'll just hang out with Miss Light Blue Head. Yeah.
Miss Lightheaded.
It's like blue head.
It's like two bad bitches leaned up against the wall
basically,
already.
that's right. We're from an 80s like album
God,
cover, you know.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Just needs some shades.
Yeah, basically. I like the
The,
buddy
the,
cop
the
that
one
we're
foot
gonna have.
propped up against the wall, just holding on to. Yes, I see it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Their next album will be coming out very shortly.
Yeah.
Everyone, keep watch.
Oh my
Good.
All on the streets of Ravnica.
I
Yep.
need
Yep.
it.
So as this happens, Mr. Zilzaxos walks up to address the crowd. Says, "Thank you all so much for coming today. On behalf of the Church of Orzhov and all here in attendance, and those who unfortunately were injured during the gala event of the previous evening, we all would like to thank these fine individuals," and you four all kind of like step forward once. Still off of the stage, but kind of like step forward once. We'd like to thank these 4 individuals for the bravery that they exhibited in protecting all of those who were there. And you can you 3 go ahead and roll me perception checks.
Oh no.
18.
10.
Perception. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So both of you, when they do, you can actually catch a few people kind of like whispering and pointing at a Miri. And you both recognize that like a few of the people that are like whispering and pointing are people that were there the night of the party. Like they know that she is not the person. But I mean, what you gonna do?
Nothing.
And he continues on flowering eloquently and about the bravery that was exhibited and how much it means to have a member of his own household and family among those who exhibited such fierce determination in protecting the citizens of Ravnica.
Okay, so you would say citizen.
Oh, of course. And slowly but surely, he invites each of you up, starting with Korak, who works up with the Great Mother Nelroa, shortly behind you, who is carrying a small medallion, and on one side it has your guild symbol, and on the other side it has the Orzhov guild symbol. And she bends down and says, "Don't worry, we can smelt off the other."
God. I was gonna say we should do something with it.
She just kind of like gives you a bit of a wink and hangs it on yourself, and you see some of the syndics on the side like slightly worried about the structure of the stage itself, given that a rather large minotaur and a centaur woman are now standing atop it, and you see them like kind of look really worried as Thone comes walking out.
Yes.
And even more so when, not even of himself, riding atop his wolf steed,
Yes.
Selene comes following behind you. And atop his wolf steed is probably
It's like the same height.
at the same
Yeah.
height as you. It's really great. And so there are two of, I guess, what most of Ravnica would consider the most wild of guilds, represented in this very haughty ceremony, as Selene puts the medallion of the Celestia symbol on one side and the Orzhov symbol
That's
on the
a big
other,
medallion.
around your neck. And it isn't like quite fit, so he just kind of like eventually just hands it to you. They didn't get a Loxodon sized like ribbon around it.
Just hold it with my trunk.
Yeah, you just hold it right
Should I
there.
It's
hung
just
it
like,
on a tusk?
There you
Oh God. And then shortly thereafter, Amiri and Lucian come up to the stage. And Mr. Lucian Zolzaxos begins. And you two roll me perception checks real quick.
13.
10.
10. You can both up. These are slightly bigger, slightly shinier of the Orzhov symbol. Look a little bit more ornate. It looks like maybe the Orzhov symbol itself is actually a little colored in a little bit, like on the gold plate. It's ostentatious as hell. And he first gives it to Amiri, who kind of like waits a minute after it's put in her chest and then gives like a little bit of an elaborate bow.
Oh my god.
She's really milking this moment. She's having a great day. And then gives it to you rather quickly. Doesn't doesn't like make a show of it really.
It
Just
almost
kind of like
just chunks it
puts
at you.
puts it around your neck real quick.
I'm
and
like
looks
standing up
immediately-
really straight, and, like smiling really big, and like pivoting as he's like walking away.
Like, no.
No.
Okay. And he heads back to the like the podium altar, and begins to start talking about how these citizens have shown that guild lines can cross when it comes to truly caring for the citizens of Ravnica. And before he can finish this sentence, this harsh, discordant music, almost like
Jesus.
kind of carnival-esque in a way. Think like carnival music if it was played with instruments that are not in tune whatsoever.
So
and are kind of
distorted
like
carnival
ramshackle,
music.
like distorted, kind of
Like
horrifying.
Silent Hill.
Yeah. Starts
Preach.
playing from the tops of rooftops across the way, across the street. And you all can look over as Rakdos performers start leaning over the rooftops.
You're an asshole.
And you can see in the crack between two buildings, these barbed wires begin to drop, and these tightrope performers, similar to how you saw at the gala the other evening, start performing. You can see some of the performers and acrobats are kind of like contorting themselves down the side of this building along these ledges. Some of them are pouring out from balconies, opening doors wide from the buildings across the way and just kind of like contorting outward to this music. And you can kind of see everybody kind of like, some people are kind of like questioning it, and some people are like, oh, this is so interesting, they're doing a performance. And you can see a lot of the Orzhov people just like starting to start confused. You actually see the woman standing next to you have like a brief moment of not like panic, but like a concern, and then like, oh, they didn't expect this.
Oh yeah. Now I'm gonna just be like, oh hell.
Oh.
Well, we might have trouble, and it might be a stupid kind of trouble.
All of a sudden, you hear the Discord music blare, and blast, and at the third floor, almost center with where this stage is across the street, the double doors slam open, and there is just a wall of fire inside this room up top there. And Darrison, would you like to explain what everybody sees at this point?
Stepping out from the wall of fire is a man in a red cloak, jet black trim, little metal studs across the shoulders, accenting everything. Does a bit of a twirl, and this large Rakdos insignia is emblazoned across the back of his cape. And he has a half face mask with a long, like, pointed nose, looks like a demon, with these big, bushy eyebrows that branch out into, like, horns on the sides, and this big, red, wide-brim cap, so his face is, like, always covered in shadow, and you see, like, the eyes of the mask glow like molten steel, and a large black feather in the cap as he steps out.
Oh my god.
And I just lean over to the lady and go, very stupid trouble.
People of Ravnica, citizens of the guilds, what a show.
You start to hear like cackling from the acrobats, and you can actually look and see a few small, tiny, like, demons atop the rooftop edge, just kind of like cackling along with it. It echoes through the street. Everybody's just silent.
Not by me, or my lovely assistants, no! By Mr. Zilzaxos here. What an excellent performance! These trinkets and medals that only serve to pull the wool over your eyes, to blind you from the wolves that stand in front of you. And then, in front of the crowd, in like a burst of flame, 3 wolves come out and start to like circle and snarl in front of the crowd.
You hear shrieks and cries of terror, and also laughter, and people just kind of like cheering on this performance of it. What are you guys doing as you see this happening?
This is my moment. This is not his moment. This is
Why are
mine.
you throwing a tantrum?
He didn't tell us he was gonna do this.
I absolutely told all of you.
How
You told us. We knew about it. You did not tell them.
Oh, I guess he
Yes,
wasn't
because
around.
This is so
I'm just-
silly.
Why aren't y'all upset?
I'm watching this
Why-
show.
why-
Why should I
Why-
be upset?
Because this is for us.
I'm looking
This is
over
like
at
a special
Soleil,
thing.
like,
Hair.
This is a special thing
you
for
think
us.
Zaxos actually turns and goes quiet. Continue.
What an excellent show you've put on, awarding these folks for what happened last night. But I am here to let you know about what really happened. For that we need to go back, for tonight was not an isolated incident. This began as a test of strength, a show of power, first appearing on the Transguild Promenade. These, where the Shatter Gang was paid off in Azorius Electrum pieces to start a riot, and I will pull a handful of Azorius Electrum from my pouch, the very money that paid the Shatter Gang, and cast it out into the crowd.
As you do, you actually watch as all of the acrobats and performers up atop the rooftops do the same, and illusory coins start spilling out from their hands as well, and it's just this shower of shimmer over top. You can kind of see the illusory wolves down below are still snarling and kind of like moving amidst the crowd.
These devices that appeared at both the Transguild Promenade and the Gala last night, the source of all our troubles, they were there at the Transguild Promenade for their first test. Mass crowd control, suppression of peaceful demonstration against Udzek, and this power grab by the Azorius and the Orjav. These devices, and as I wave my hands, 3 Thopters will appear above me and start circling.
You hear some of the acrobats and performers up atop the roof shriek and cry in overly dramatic fashions as the Thopters menace overhead. Roll me a perception check real quick.
15.
15. You can actually pick out 2. You are certain there's a third, but you can't quite see him. But you can actually pick out 2 hooded figures amidst the crowd that look like they are the ones that are controlling the illusory wolves around the outside. And one thing that you actually do pick out is far across the way, a few steps out from where she was previously hidden, the Strigoi is out a little bit and paying close attention to Darius and kind of like watching from afar, just intrigued.
Very stupid boy. Okay. Alright.
This first demonstration, this riot incited by the Shatter Gang, paid by Azorius money from the pockets of a Mr. Van Cleve. And the first wolf in the crowd, its face is going to morph and change and have the face of Van Cleve.
Some Dante Inferno shit, man.
You watch as Whitney White is just furiously scribbling every single bit of this.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like,
This is horrifying.
I love it.
And these devices that saved the day at the riots were then brought to the Orjav Gala. Invited in by the Orjav, who also brought in heads of every guild and demonstrated their power. No, this gala was not a party, not a celebration. This was a show of force, of what the Orjav and the Azorius are now capable of. And it was all bankrolled by this man, Matisse Urkwitz. And the second wolf then takes on the face of Matisse.
you watch at this point, those of you on top of the stage, you can actually see Zilzaxos kind of like take a few steps back from the podium, kind of like back in line with everyone else on stage. Just waits.
Oh?
And boy, his pockets are deep. And I will pull from my cloak the large ledger of all the payments for the Thopters that I recovered from Van Cleve's apartment. And just dangle it over the balcony. And then we have the man of the hour, our ringmaster, Mr. Lucian Zilzaxos himself. And the last wolf then changes faces to be the face of Father Zilzaxos. He brought everyone under the same roof who's here today and rewards the very people whose lives he put in danger. And then the wolves all turn on the podium and charge and leap at the podium as if they're about to attack, and then disappear in like a burst of flame.
Okay.
You watch Mr. Zaxos just stoic. Not a single bit of change as these three wolves just come charging him, just staring daggers at this man on the balcony.
But you don't have to believe me. All the proof you need is within the very devices of our oppression. And the Thopters will start to spin around and start attacking all of the Rakdos performers on the rooftops and the tight ropes. And they like swing at them with like chains and fire and
You watch as the Rakdos performers are using their own devices and own opportunities so that whenever the illusory Thopters are attacking them, it's actually like hitting them. So you can see one of them use the knives that they're juggling to pierce themselves as the Thopter attacks and kind of like feign blood and be able to use it and show the visceral nature of these devices even though they are illusory.
And then eventually the performers then swing through and smash all of the Thopters, and they all break apart into like millions of pieces. And the Demir memory strands inside then start to swirl and come up like in front of me above the crowd.
I want to see what Starboy sees when she sees that. Can I do a perception check?
Yeah, go and roll for it. At advantage since you're kind of keeping an eye on it.
Oh, at advantage, so that was a 12. So that's a 19.
19. When she sees that, you see her kind of like register it.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't move,
Mm-hmm.
but she just starts like taking a moment and like nodding silently and just trying to like
Okay.
piece together.
Okay.
Demir magic. Hidden inside each of these devices, recording our actions, our words, our thoughts. Now, what role do the Demir play in protecting our people? What say you, Zilzaxos?
At this point, the crowd just erupts. Just cries, screams, accusations, cuss words. It's on the verge of like public outcry and riot. And you can see the syndics are now like ushering Mr. Zilzaxos down and like into the estate and are starting to like bring him away. He's not even focused on you
Oh.
or anybody on stage. Like they are just ushering him inside and kind of like locking and closing the gate down. And you can see you actually watch the great Mother Nelroa hold out her hand and goes, Korak, do you have any desire for that thing around your neck?
Grab it and I rip it off and I hold it up and I go, this...
Oh, no, there's a
No, this is not for the civilians or for anybody in Rakdos, or not Rakdos, Ravnica. This is all for the Orzhov. This is just Orzhov trying to show how great they are. And I'll chuck it into the... I want to chuck it into the crowd.
Oh, yes!
Can I, as all this chaos breaks out, I'm just going to turn around with a flourish, the full Rakdos insignia across my back, and pull a small viol out of my cloak, and just play a reprise of that melody, like Constantine over Rome as it burns.
So you watch as the blue cloaked woman next to you just goes, well, that was something.
That was something, yes.
Don't mind. I think that trouble we were discussing earlier is here.
Yeah.
And she kind of steps forward and lowers her hood, and she has very like cropped, short, dark hair. And you see her kind of like push her cloak back, and she has a kind of like a mace of sorts hanging off of her hip. And she kind of like takes it and holds it high into the air, and it begins glowing with this white light as she continues to step forward. And one of those Azorius barriers that you've seen kind of like close off like crime scenes of sorts, things like that, begins forming along the front of the crowd, sanctioning off the Zilzaxos Manor, and separating the crowd from the stage or anybody further.
Yeah.
And she continues walking forward, decreeing insert Azorius writ here, to kind of like hold, to kind of like keep everybody at bay. And as she walks through, you can see she actually is able to walk through the barrier itself to the people on the stage, and goes, "Do any of you feel like you need escorts?"
Yes.
I'm not in trouble. Of
You're
course
not in
you
trouble.
would. No, not in trouble.
No.
The crowd won't come in and attack me.
Are you so sure?
If they do, I'm pretty sure my axe can handle any of that.
You're just gonna cut down innocent people who've been enraged by this low class piece of Rakdos trash that just decided to turn the entire sentiment of the city of Ravnica against my family.
Child.
You see, she actually turns to you, goes, "Actually found it quite informative."
Excuse me? I'm surrounded by simpletons and idiots. And
Oh,
You're
in
more
that
of an
case,
idiot.
find your way through the crowd yourself. Was there anybody else?
No.
I'm good. Thanks.
Of course.
I storm off, like,
Where?
through the crowd.
Through the crowd.
Like, trying to, like, blend in and be inconspicuous in my...
As you are doing
no.
so, Whitney White is there with her thing. Goes, yes, Mr. Zilzaxos, can you confirm that your father was actually working with the man who attacked everybody there that night?
Please get out
What
of
do you
my
have to
face.
say out of this?
Please get out of my face
Do I
right now.
Sir,
This is...
Yeah, you start to see
Alright,
this.
I'm moving towards them.
Okay.
Fucking
Have just a little sympathy for people's feelings. I know you kind of people don't care about this kind of thing, but, like, you know, I'm a person with
As you
feelings.
start to arrive, you actually see somebody. You start to arrive up towards him.
Yeah.
Coming up behind him, and you can actually watch the other reporter guy, like the newsboy.
Yeah.
Jonesy actually kind of like taps her on the shoulders, just like, Miss White, he said he's not interested. You can move on now. She's just like, shut up, I'm trying to get a story. He just, Miss White, shut up! And finally, he kind of like grabs her and turns and just decks her across the face.
Hey, Jonesy.
And just kind of like picks up her notebook, rips out the page that she was writing, and is like, that'll sell for something.
Hey! Jonesy's my kind of guy. All right.
Jonesy's got some mox.
So I guess I see all of this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, good for you. You with me now. And so I just grab you. It just
You're just like pulling me along.
You're just pulling
I'm
me
fighting and trying not to, but I'm very small. It's not hard.
Amiri like clocks you
Oh,
and
shit.
starts like moving towards you and is like, "Yep, that's my ride out of here."
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I'm more concerned about him, but I mean, fuck it. All right.
What is Darrison doing?
I will slowly make my way back inside the from the balcony that I was on. I'm gonna stash all of my, like, obviously the costume comes off and stash it in my bag and head back out into the chaos. Just as a
Do you
street
head out
citizen.
to the other side? Because the building that you're in has an entrance to like the other street.
Yeah,
like,
out the other
behind
side,
you.
away from it, just into the streets.
Okay.
And I'll head back to our regular brunch
You're
spot.
just gonna peace out. That's funny.
As you head out, you can actually see some of the other performers are coming down from up top the building, anything in, and they're kind of like dropping in. You see a few of them disguise self as well, kind of like
just some
blending
head
into the
nods
normal
and winks,
crowd.
like
And everybody just kind of like Ocean's 11 looking at the Bellagio. Everyone's like, and we're good. Okay, this person goes. Now these two people leave. This person leaves from this direction. This person goes this way, and they just like, all right.
just a bunch of head nods and
Yeah,
winks, like
that,
good show, guys.
Absolutely. And they juice out. You guys are able to kind of like fight your way through the crowd, but it is rather excitable.
Okay.
Like it's
But we get through.
yeah. Everybody at this point isn't like all that interested in like others at this point. They are kind of like crying and like pushing up against the barrier, like calling out for Mr. Silzaxos. And,
Okay.
like decreeing, and it's
Protect
looking
us,
rough.
Okay. And do I know where Strogoy is in any of this?
Make a perception check.
14.
14. You catch the like tail end of her cloak and her boots, heading back into the alleyway that you saw her emerge from.
Okay. All right.
What are y'all doing?
I would get next to Great Mother, and I think it's time for us to leave Great Mother and try and.
She was just like, well, this was certainly more exciting than I thought it was going to be. I like that one. Is that yours?
Maybe. I'm not quite sure. Could be. It seems like something he would do.
Could you make sure I get a word with him? I like him. He seems well versed in the ways of things going on right now.
Of course.
Yes. Thone and Selene.
I'm gonna turn to Selene and be like, I've never done crowd surfing before. Can I just like dive in?
He kind of looks at you and goes, I don't know if they'd be able to withstand. And you actually see Lavinia point. She goes, it's probably best if you head down the stairs and off that direction.
I guess that's the reasonable thing to do. All right. We'll just
Yes.
walk today.
She goes, I'll make sure the crowd is a little bit more contained. They seemed, she kind of like looks down over at Whitney White, who's kind of like repositioning her jaw a little bit, and is kind of like staring dead at Jonesy. And you actually see her, it looks like she like pulls like a dagger out from like a thigh holster and is like staring at Jonesy, starting to walk away. And you just see the Azorius woman just clear her throat a little bit in Whitney's direction, and Whitney just closes back up the holster and puts the knife back and is like, you know what, that's fair.
I was gonna go ask for an interview. That sounds exciting. I bet Miss White would be so interested in interviewing Thone.
You walk up to Miss White.
Yeah. Hi.
Selene strolls up behind you. She goes, oh, yes, hello. You are, and she kind of like flips back a few pages. She goes, you are Strunbath Thone, is that correct? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah,
I
good
don't want to make
job.
sure that I have that. Thank you, wonderful. I've tried to learn as many languages as I can to properly, make sure I'm naming everybody correctly in the appropriate manner.
That's very nice of you.
Because, I am nothing if not nice. Make an insight check.
It's like this calm interview while there's chaos.
She's not nice.
Just like little fires
I
in the
know.
background and people like screaming.
That was nice.
I know. Thone is so nice. I love that he's talking to this poor, sweet tabloid
Yeah.
journalist.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean,
just
this
like,
person
"It's
got
okay,
punched.
That's true. I mean, Thone would care about that.
Yeah. She goes, so did you expect anything like this to happen today?
Absolutely not. Normally, everyone that I associate with are very kind and respectable people, and we just normally don't see this type of madness erupting out of nowhere.
You see her kind of like give a look back as Korak and Melroa are walking away, and she just kind of like gives side eye to that and looks back at you. Is like, kind people.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. Interesting.
Wow. He's a very good person.
So, you weren't anticipating anything like this happening here. Were there other people who had similar sentiments involved in this matter? Maybe, I believe there was the Korak, I don't know if that was the gentleman who just walked away. There was also, Ministrant Amiri, although my contacts tell me that she's not actually involved in any of this, but that's fine. And there was an unnamed waiter. Can you name that waiter?
I can really not name anyone. I'm not very good with names. all the tiny people all kind of, you know.
Roll a deception check. I'm gonna say at advantage because like
Is that
you do
deception
know.
enough?
I was like, that's why I'm like
Deception.
because you know his name, but at the same time like Thone
Don't really
isn't
know.
good with names.
Still, that was it's an 18.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's like, well, that's fine. If you have any idea whatsoever, and she kind of like pulls out a business card a little bit too quickly. But this one is very nice. It actually it's got some really nice filigree alongside of it, and it actually kind of like shimmers every once in a
Oh,
while.
I love these things. Thank you. I'm gonna give her a big hug.
I don't touch. I'm
Oh, well, thank you anyway for the pretty.
great. And she just kind of like walks away,
shiny.
like further into the crowd, trying to like get more people to answer her and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope she finds a good story.
You like walking away, like completely oblivious to like all
All the walking through the madness, and
Yeah.
crying.
Just like, look at that. I can see
Pardon me.
So
There.
y'all are all out of this kind of like riotous
Yeah.
public display thing. What do you all wish to do now?
Well, I guess, I mean, we pull out and I'm just like, stupid, this. Oh, I pulled
Mary
out.
pulls out. She goes, "What on earth was that? What
And
happened?"
I just look and I forgot about her and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It's frustrating because Rakdos just wants to mess with everything, even when you guys are getting your medals. And I'm frustrated for you guys because
It was kind of rude. I understand.
Can I roll an insight check to see if she's lying?
Sure. Are you lying?
I don't. This just doesn't feel like
Roll a
something.
deception check.
This doesn't feel like something Luminita would say. That's a 7.
okay, so I'm at a, what is a deception? So I'm at a 14.
It's a 7.
Oh, proud of you.
Your kind words are so helpful in these trying times.
I need you to go stand over there. Go stand over there. Go stand over there. Go stand over
I'm
there.
not gonna lie. Both Amiri and Lucian are like,
We just-
should like.
Okay.
Like,
But she turned to
Okay, you
like,
first.
I don't-
Okay, Lucian, you stand over there. I'm dealing with you now. Amiri. You are here. Lucian, go over there.
Excuse me,
No.
Limnita.
No.
I believe you have a job to do.
What?
I'm discussing this with fellow honorarium Lucian Zilzaxos.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Bye. And I just start walking off.
I'm like, actually, never mind, and I run.
And Amiri's just like, well, I don't. What? I thought I had, and now I.
I'm gonna follow them too. It was good meeting you. Bye.
Korak is walking by. Everybody's walking by. Amiri's like, how did I?
Yeah, I'm just casually chatting with
And
the
as she
grandmother,
walks by, she's just like, I don't. Whitney, Miss White, Miss White. And she just goes. Amiri goes running after the reporter who will maybe hear her story. And shortly thereafter, all 4 of you are able to meet up together on a side street or something, enough away from all of the action.
Yeah, that stupid child man doing what we told him. We told him this was dumb, and he's just
We? What?
no.
That was
Rakdos.
You knew about this?
Yeah, that was Rakdos man. Yes, I knew
Yeah.
about this. Your little bromance friend decided that he was gonna stir up trouble because it's a moral thing to do, and he's
And you just let him?
no.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was
No.
great.
Yeah, I kind of
We-
enjoyed it too.
You enjoyed that?
Yes, riots
Yeah,
are
I
a
mean-
brutal thing. You realize that,
It was
right?
a bit of a rude interruption by like people being open and honest, free exchange of ideas, kindness, generosity. They threw a bunch of coins everywhere. It was lovely.
It is going to have such repercussions. Such repercussions. I don't think he understands. It's just You know what? I don't have anything to say about this because I need to figure out where it's gonna go. How this is going to go tits up so fast that I can't even right now. And so I guess I don't even know what you guys want to do. Do you guys want to still strut around? You don't have your medal.
Do you need a hug?
No, I do not need a hug.
I still
no hug.
have my medal on,
Yes.
just
Yeah.
for the record.
I still
of
have
course
it
you do.
too.
You're never gonna take
Yeah,
it.
I
yeah.
hope somebody either got hit or caught my medal.
I'm gonna use it as a plate.
He got a physical object of gratification from his father. Do you
Yeah.
think he's gonna let that go?
Yeah. And then I'm gonna be like, you have to
He's gonna sleep
I
with
know
a
you're gonna
pillow.
just wear that forever.
Kiss it.
Hide it, please. Can you just hide it so you don't get robbed on top of everything?
I like put it under my shirt, but I like leave the ribbon like sticking out a little bit, like maybe just in case you can like
Ask about it.
yeah. Someone might notice.
Oh,
See it
that's such a
under his
pretty
shirt.
ribbon.
Yeah, you can
What's
see
that
it. You
about?
can see
A
the
big
outline under the under like my linen vestment. It's just like
Oh goodness.
Gosh.
Okay, I guess that's fine.
well, he's got to be at the brothel, right? Where
I
else-
mean,
where else
I
would he
mean,
go?
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
He's
let's go
probably-
get some mangoes at the brothel.
Is that what you're thinking about right now?
You
Mangoes?
seem
At the brothel.
surprised.
I mean, we can do two things at once.
No, he's got a point. Actually, he's got a.
Food, brothel. What else would you do? Mangoes.
Well, there's other things to do at a. You know what? Not
I was gonna
today.
say, don't try this.
All right.
him.
Let's go to the brothel. I mean, that's probably where he is. I need a drink. I need like 7 drinks.
You want to have a
And
drinking contest?
no, because no,
No.
no,
No,
not
you
even a
don't
little bit. Not even a little bit.
So you all head off in that direction. Darcy, you have arrived first. And Alicia has prepared just a celebration. It is full on Rakdos party. We're not taking on clients tonight. We are just having a good time. Everybody stay at the door unless you want a drinking party with the man of the hour. And there is atop a portion of the bar a very elaborate cushioned chair for you at the ready, drinks on hand, and she is just in full celebration mode, pouring you drinks as you take your honored seat for the night. And you all arrive at the establishment with Alicia at the floor in front of the bar, goblet in hand, raised high to the sky. The companions and other Rakdos performers all over, it seems, like hanging off of chandeliers, standing on tables. It's just full-on party mode here at the establishment for this performance. And Alicia just goes, 3 cheers to the Red Mage of Rakdos! And everybody just cries up. And Darrison, you look out and see the very dour, very disturbed, upset faces of the other renegades.
Me?
like-
I'm not upset.
Oh yeah, y'all both look
Yeah,
pumped as hell, and these
Yeah, we're
two
just-
are just...
I'm like holding a plate of like pears and like cheeses and things that I was
Yes.
about to eat off of, and I see them walk in, and I like stumble off the bar and like fall from my seat and try to like sit down and act casual at one of the tables.
And that is where we are going to leave off for the break, and we're going to come back as the party confronts you about your decisions. So thank you all so much for sticking with us through the break. During the break, we are going to have 2 of our special break videos breaking down some of the story elements and the gameplay elements that we go through here on Color Guards to make it a little bit easier for you all to follow along. So catch those through the break as we are taking a little bit of a breather here, and we will come back as the rest of the Renegades get to confront Darrison on his decisions and the potential consequences of those choices. Hello, and welcome to Color Guards. I'm your Dungeon Master, Wesley, and we're discussing proficiency bonuses on today's Gameplay Spotlight. Proficiency bonuses determine what skill sets, abilities, tools, and weapons your character can use well based on your class, race, and background. Proficiency bonuses start at +2 at level 1, increase to +3 at level 5, and continue to scale upwards based on your level from there. They are used on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws as such. For skill checks, Korak would have proficiency on a strength athletics check to grapple an enemy. For tool checks, Luminitza would add her proficiency bonus to Thieves' Tools when making a dexterity check to pick a lock. On attack rolls, these are usually made with strength or dexterity checks, such as Thone adding proficiency to a strength check to punch an enemy, or Darrison adding proficiency to a dexterity check to stab someone with his rapier. These can also incorporate attack rolls using spells, such as when Lucian would make an attack roll casting Firebolt on an enemy, or an ally. Then there are saving throws. These run the gamut of all 6 ability checks, and are determined factors when trying to save against some type of obstacle or effect that is punishing to the players. For instance, a dexterity saving throw would be made to avoid a falling chandelier, or a wisdom saving throw would be made to avoid being charmed by an evil sorceress. That gives you a pretty brief rundown on how proficiency bonuses work, so whenever we're in game and we're talking about a player making a roll with proficiency, that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect and how much that's going to affect their dice rolls. Thank you so much for checking in with us during our gameplay spotlight, and we'll see you in the second half of tonight's episode here on Color Guards. And welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking with us through the break, and we hope you enjoyed the break videos that we had for you. Last we left off, everybody at Alicia's establishment was just partying up a storm, following a very successful, according to their eyes, performance by the Red Mage of Rakdos himself, Darrison LeMay. As the rest of the renegades themselves arrive, half of the party pretty excited about what happened in Darrison's performance, and the other two not so much. So Darrison tries to surreptitiously just remove himself from the seat of honor and get back down to a normal level and just... what? Oh my god, there's a party going on? This is so... Oh my god, you guys are here!
We talked about this. First off, order me like 4 drinks right now. Get that happening, and then we need to talk because you...
Somebody's already by with like a tray of drinks for you all.
Done.
Alicia's like pulling them all together like, thank you all so much. That was so incredible. He did need to do wonderful. Everybody drink.
We heard you guys are going to a party and I wasn't invited, so I thought we'd just throw our own party.
I stand.
Fuck you, man. That's not what
Alicia just like sets the tray down and Cash walks back like.
Grab my drink.
Yeah,
my
I'm drink.
Good.
I'm just gonna down it and be like, you and I are gonna have a conversation one-on-one, but I'm gonna wait until he chews you out.
So I just am standing across the table with like my fist clenched, like shaking, and I like go to say something, and I just lunge across the table, like grabbing at him.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh no, I'm just gonna let this happen.
Dexterity save? 16.
Make
you want me to
a
roll?
attack roll.
Attack
with,
roll?
like dexterity or
With
strength. I'll let you
dexterity or
choose. Go
strength.
for it.
Okay, we'll do dexterity. Oh,
So you go to lunge across the table and you like spill the half picked up tray of drinks across it.
No.
Everybody just picks up their drinks.
Yeah,
like, nope, not to mine.
I just like duck under the table a little bit and just...
So I pull myself off, and I'm like angry, and I try to say something, and then I just start like weeping. I'm like,
You did this.
I
what
heard,
you did?
I heard there was a really exciting show.
At this point, Alicia kind of like sees this happen and kind of comes back and goes, "Darling, do you need something better than this? This isn't your style. Come with me. Come. I have a beautiful bottle of wine. I think it would be wonderful. I also have brandy. Which would you prefer?"
So, which would you recommend? I'm just like broken.
She just picks you up and lifts you up, and she's like, let's talk. You're going. Let's have a talk.
I just go with her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna do whatever. Like, I can't think for myself.
So
right
she's
now.
gonna lead away. So we'll come back to that in a second.
Do you guys have anything? Oh no, you like this.
You did a
I
great
did love
job.
I thought it was
Thank
great.
you for being
What-
honest
what was
and
it?
open.
You can stop playing
I
dumb.
Don't.
Was
I mean-
it the Red Mage himself?
Don't.
The man,
Don't.
the myth, the legend?
Don't.
Oh, I just love
You
his
know,
milking this.
I would love to see one of his shows in person. You guys are so lucky.
Let me guess, you've never been in the audience for one of his shows.
No. You know, I always miss it. You know, I'm always busy.
I'm just downing.
I'm always up to
drinks.
something, you know?
That's amazing.
A Rakdos performer hanging off of like a light fixture or something above you, just kind of like you see a hand descend with another drink.
Alright.
The table service here is excellent.
Oh, yeah, alright. I'm gonna finish my drink.
Lumi was like, "Don't let me get sucked in. We're not doing this."
No. You and I are gonna go talk in a private hallway for a minute. You and I.
It's not like they
Well,
have private rooms at the
this-
brothel or anything.
Or yeah, somewhere private. Like Lucy's over there, and I'm like, I don't have time for
It's one of
this.
those special open brothels.
We're spiking the mic.
Yeah.
It was just really entertaining because the least world-wise person was like, "Yeah, because they don't have private rooms in a brothel." God, that was.
I don't need your shit right now, Lucian. Okay, you, bright room. Now, let's go.
I want to hear what you guys thought.
Yeah,
How did it
I
go?
want to stay with you and party. I liked everything you did. First I thought, oh no,
Luminance,
Rakdos show, but then it was like really informative. I felt like I was, being educated, even though I already knew it.
We, we try to do that. We try to kind of subvert expectation,
You educated a lot of people. You made a good mosh pit. It was great. You liked the mosh
Come on,
pit.
Luminita. It's a party.
Fair. Okay, fine. You know what? I will just say this, that a contact of mine was at this party. A person that works in a Demir, and they seemed very particularly fond of the Great Mage, to the point where they wanted to, learn a little bit more about this person, learn a little bit more of why they would do something like this.
Well, that's fascinating. Well, wow, we all learned something today. Luminita has a friend in the Demir.
I have
That's
friends
new.
everywhere, and my friend was very interested in what the hell you were doing.
Well, that's excellent. It
yeah,
sounds like
my,
we're getting the gang together.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were. That's why I gave the presentation.
Oh my
The
god.
Great Mother would like to speak to you sometime. Actually, speaking of friends,
oh my
she really
goodness,
liked
you guys.
how
So
well
you come
talk.
up to the Great Mother, but when I call you out on your shit, you're like, no, it's the Great Mage.
I'd love to meet your friend.
Oh my god.
I want to meet your friends too.
Oh my god.
Okay, guys.
you
Let
wanna
me.
do
I
that.
think I can clear all this confusion up pretty simply. It's me. I'm the Red Mage of Rakdos.
No fucking shit.
Is that why you had the same book that you picked up earlier? Like, and the Red Mage had it too.
It's me.
Come on. It's all falling into place.
It's a party, Lumi. We can save this for tomorrow, honestly.
Okay, well then for tomorrow it is. I'm leaving, and then
There's
I'll just
food, there's drinks,
Nope, I'm
there's
leaving.
plenty of drinks,
I'm leaving.
open bar.
I'm leaving. Open
Bar
bar is tempting.
service.
Open bar is tempting. I have to admit, but no, I don't. I have to. No, I have to figure out what do I do with this? What do I do with this information? You just screwed up everything, and it's just like, how do I fix my plan in this? You just.
Wait, how did that screw up anything?
I'm not gonna get into it. I'm
We
going.
screwed up everything for the Azorius, the Orjav,
Right.
all the people that have been screwing things up for us. I say we leveled the playing field. Maybe,
Exactly.
Lumi, if you shared what your plans are with the group, we don't step on each other's toes.
Yeah, be a friend.
No, because this just doesn't show me that you are a friend. You were selfish. And at least I
Selfish?
know I am. Do you know that? Do you know how selfish you are and how much you didn't? We're supposed to be friends, right? We told you this was stupid. And what did you do? Do it anyways.
Is it selfish to share the truth
I'm not gonna.
with the people?
Exactly. It's kind.
What's selfish
And
is to
Lumi
keep
just
your
storms
plans to
off.
I'm done.
yourself.
Let me-
I'm done. I'm gone. I'm gone.
I'm going to come back to that in
Okay.
just a second. So, Alicia, having pulled you aside, is pouring you a drink. And she's pulled you over to, like a corner of the bar. It's still raucous around, but, like, it's the corner of the bar. Nobody really hangs out in the corner of the bar. It's fine. It's, like, the great spot for talking. So Alicia kind of pulls you aside and goes, I understand. It's been a very trying day, and unfortunately, our ways haven't helped, I understand.
Thank you so much. I needed someone to acknowledge my feelings because all day it's just been a thing, and my own friends are turning against me, and then I just like collapse onto her and like
I
sob.
know, dear, I know. And of course, your father wouldn't do such things, would he? I mean, he wouldn't be working with these people.
No, and I don't know why Darrison would lie about that. I don't understand.
She goes, of course, I completely understand, dear, 100%. He may have just been misinformed is all. It's fine. To be fair, all signs did point to your father having involvement in this matter. I mean, all of it happened at his party. He invited all of the people responsible for this event. All of the people responsible for this event and funding it were a part of his own guild. But, like, I completely understand. Sometimes the facts aren't I get it. It's totally acceptable.
Thank you so much. I feel like you're the only person I've ever met who actually cares about me.
Oh.
That's a lot to unpack. We're not going to touch that this evening. Even you don't pay near enough for that. She goes, but I just completely understand, and I want you to know that if you feel like you're not being properly heard by the others, you can always come and talk to me, and I promise anything that you have to say will completely stay between us.
Appreciate it.
She's got her fingers crossed behind her back.
Can I have another? And like my glass is empty. My little brandy.
She's like,
sniffer
oh,
is, like,
you, okay. That's not something to be taken as a shock, but that is fine. I guess I'll
Sipping
just
wine?
pour more of this that cost almost as much as my outfit. It's fine. Of course. She hands it back to you. She was kind of, Darrison, you see this. Luminita having stormed off, you kind of like look back to where she is. She just kind of gives you a little bit of like a knowing smirk as she's handing the glass back to him. So you storm outside of the bar in like full can't believe it rage.
Yeah.
Just everything that you talked about was completely disregarded. Everything that was like can't believe it. You get maybe a block from the club when you just hear the voice on the wind just say, well, your friend certainly has a little bit of a performative aspect to himself.
I don't have fucking time for this. What do you want? What do you want? What do I do? I don't even know how. Okay, and then.
So she just snaps her fingers hard.
What?
Beckons you into the other.
Oh god.
This is not what I signed up for. This is not what I wanted to do. This is. I can't. I just.
I'm sorry. Did you sign a waiver? Did I hand you a job description of what it is that you were to do? Or do I give you orders? And do you obey them?
The problem is that you have this problem. Okay. The Rakdos performer is screwing up everything. And now
You say screw up. I say give us an opportunity.
How? So Zaxos is going to get spirited away into that manor and we're never going to get him. That boy is gone. That house is gone. That family is never going to talk to anyone again because they're so pissed off by the Rakdos.
But now there's a power vacuum. So Zaxos won't have the pull that he says he does.
Then why do you want Lucian then? I mean, why not another spoiled rich boy?
Because if Zaxos doesn't, then he does. If his father takes the fall, who's the next in line for that seat? Think longer, Luminitsa.
I don't. The Zilzaxos boy, he is not. I think you need to pick someone else. I do. I think that he's not going to turn. I think he is too. I don't know. Too something. Not willing to turn on his family. He cares too much about family. He cares too much about a community. And that's not going to work. He is...
Oh, my dear, but you know all about how to take that idea of family and community and turn away from it. Do you not?
That's not the point. The point is...
Oh, so the point is that you can't do your job. Is that what you're telling me?
That is not what I'm telling you. I am telling you that it is...
I'm hearing excuses, Luminitsa.
Fine.
I'm hearing wavering fault
It's not
of
wavering
your
fault.
own.
It is not wavering fault. It just it is that the. I'll do it. It's fine. I'll do it. That's what you want me to do. I'll do it. I'll throw him to the wolves and it'll be fine. And that is my job. And that is my job. So, fine. Do it. I don't care.
She kind of gives a little bit of a chuckle. She's like, "You're so agitated, Luminenza."
I just think you picked the wrong person. I do. I think you picked... He is...
Well, fine. That is a conversation for another day. Now, regarding these devices and their use of our ways,
The doctors?
indeed.
Are you asking me a question?
Well, somebody had to turn against us, or rather, found an opportunity.
So you did not know how the Demir technology got there?
No. We have ideas. But ideas are never a problem for us. It's the evidence that is.
I don't know.
Find it.
Okay.
And don't be so hard on that one. And she kind of points back towards the brothel. She goes, "It was fun what he did today."
The Rakdos boy?
Yes. It was reckless. It was daring.
It was stupid.
Exactly. People around here are far too smart for their own good. I know we are. Sometimes it takes something stupid and ill-advised to shake things up. See how easy Zelzaxos quivered in his boots as soon as it happened. He didn't know how to react. He fled like a small child,
We did fled.
and we can use that.
That is true.
Cultivate that.
Okay.
Learn how to use it. It may not be your way, but it is an effective one. One we can leverage.
I mean, I don't have a choice, do I?
I mean, you do.
That's not an easy one, and it's not one that will be favorable. So,
There you go. You're quite right on that.
am I good to go? Can I go?
Of course.
Of course, of course. All right, I am leaving, and I have to go back to the Warjav. So, and I'm just leaving. I just leave, and I'm over the day. I'm just so over the day, and I'm just like in a, like I'm deflated, but I'm walking away.
know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I did a lot. I apologize.
Nah, it's fine. It's good.
Let me that day, y'all.
Louise had a day.
So the rest of you are enjoying your time. Darrison has been regaling you of the various preparatory aspects of his performance and everything.
Reliving
that
the whole
No,
thing.
I clock out on that, and I'm going to go. I'm not.
As you are getting ready to leave, a foursome of small little red goblin-sized demon creatures with kind of like points that end in black barbs come cackling loudly, louder than anybody in the bar. And you recognize these as some of the creatures that were up top on the rooftop there. It seems like they don't run with anybody here inside the establishment itself, but they are a part of Rakdos. And they come cackling up, and they continue disappearing and reappearing in puffs of black smoke and little brimstone fires. And they slowly make their way up until they are on the bar itself. And everything kind of reaches hushed tones, and they're like, "Who here is the red mage?"
I'm gonna duck behind a bench or a couch or something where I can be hidden and sneak
Or
my
a
little mask out of
phone.
my bag or something.
Or a thumb. I was like, you have a thumb at your
Or a-
disposal.
But like
You can
around the
hide
corner or
behind
something
the
where they
phone.
can't see me and sneak my little mask.
Yeah,
out.
you duck behind Thone having a drink and
Oh. He is here.
You see one of them hold up a small envelope, and it puffs in flame in his hand and emerges in the next one. It does it until it gets to the one that's right in front of you. And he kind of like holds his tiny little clawed hand out. And it's this very small envelope.
I would like to
Take it. Instantly, all four of them cackle loudly and like puff away in like flame and smoke off of it. You see Alicia kind of notice this, and she turns to you and goes, "I'm very sorry, I have to go see to him very fast. That was incredibly exciting. Just drink up." She kind of pours you and kind of refills it, like
Yeah.
drinking. She goes, "Great," and she she walks by the bar and just goes, "Please put this away, lock it up. He's not allowed to have any more. He just, I don't understand. He's like a fish." And she comes walking up, she goes, "Do you know what that is?"
No.
Yes, that's an invitation to the mock turn. Those are...
Are you serious? Is this really?
No, I'm lying.
No,
I'm incredibly excited.
Just believe this is incredibly exciting. I've been dreaming of this. What do I do with it?
You fucking use it! You were invited to the mock turn. You're going to take part in it.
When is it? I open it up. I open it up and see if it says anything.
Yeah, but it's going to be so the invitation for it. The mock turn happens each night, but it is in various locations across all of Ravnica, and it's kind of like hush hush on like when you yourself get to be a part of it. It's scheduled far in advance. So this one is for the mock turn that will take place in a week's time. And it gives you a performance slot in said event. Those of you that are kind of around near it, because you were right on your way out, I'll have you three roll a history check for me.
19.
6.
Oh, excuse me, 18.
18.
But
2.
Okay. So you two are not familiar with it. You've had run-ins with Darrison and a number of other Rakdos performers. And the more you've gotten to talk with Darrison as a performer, because you actually met him at one of his performances and events on the street. The mock turn is a Rakdos tradition that happens every evening, and it is essentially kind of like a pop-up, think like flash mob style performance that happens somewhere in Ravnica every single night, and it's designed as a performance that is to like mock and satirize and speak out against various corruptions or like known shady dealings or anything like that here within Ravnica, like guilds acting out against what they should.
Can I have heard the whole conversation between Alicia and him? I was just leaving, but I would
That's
have been
okay.
distracted.
You were getting up from the table,
Okay.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is that... I know something a little about what...
Yeah. It's I don't want to say it's been a long time coming, but I'm glad it's here.
Congratulations.
You don't even know what it is.
Doesn't matter. Congratulations. You got recognition from your guild.
Thank you.
Anyways, I forget. Do they allow outsiders to? Because you would probably need some help with some performances.
Absolutely. You were about to leave. I was going to stop you. I'd be honored to have a friend on stage with me.
Of course, as you know.
Maybe
Just let me know what you plan to do ahead of time, so I can
Yeah.
brace myself.
Of course. A little less conventional, but we can do some planning. And please, the Great Mother, I would love to meet her. It seems she seems wonderful, and she seems to think very highly of you. So I respect that.
I'm glad that she does. I don't think I deserve most of what she believes in me, but
You do. You do.
definitely I will send word back home and let her know that you are interested in meeting.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Cora.
So the night continues to come to a close. Thone eventually making his way home after
Tree.
To a
many
tree.
many imbibements.
Yeah.
Eventually, Lucian heads out. As you do, the Azorius woman who is there is still kind of like stationed outside. You do see, annoyingly, that the wonderful reporter, Miss Whitney White, is still around, but keeping a wider berth, trying to like catch people on the street who may have seen things. It's well into the night at this point, but you see Lavinia kind of like keeping watch, the bit of barrier around the outside still kind of like glowing and keeping things lit, as it were. She notices you and kind of like beckons you to approach and goes, yes, of course, give me 1 second. And she kind of like holds her mace to the barrier, and you see like the part in front of her starting to flicker a bit. She goes, come through, of course.
Thank you, milady.
Smooth.
We're gonna forget the fact that you just called me milady. Ever. We're never gonna talk of that.
Of course.
Just straight. Awesome. Lord. You're welcome to head inside. I do have to instruct you that I do have 2 men inside keeping watch over your father. Do bear in mind that they are currently allowed to hear any conversation that is had in his presence for his safety and general safety, I should say. But this is your home.
Yes. And I turn and like stumble up to the door.
Nods back, and you can see Whitney, Miss White, running forward, just Mr. Zazaxos, and you just kind of see you see Lavinia's eye perk up, and you kind of like look back, and you can see her kind of like smirking a little bit, because the barrier is still shifting a little bit from you kind of like walking through and her keeping it there. And you see her kind of like give you a little bit of a smirk, and she waits for a second and pulls it up right at the last minute, and Whitney slams into the barrier. And she just kind of like triggers, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't see you there.
Like double over laughing, and then turn around and like almost fall over, but like right myself up. And
As you
continue towards
head
the door.
inside into the home, the ghostly servant who you've talked with before, does he have a name? Your ancestor ghostly servant who attends to the home?
Kalam, yeah.
Kalam.
Yeah.
So Kalam is there, seeing you very intoxicated, and you can kind of see Kalam, the spirit, is kind of maintaining peace around the home. You can kind of see him being the one starting to give the orders to spirits, things like that. He goes, your father is currently locked away in his study, and we anticipate he will be maintaining his own privacy within his chambers for a little bit.
You tell him I want to talk to him.
That
No.
will not happen. But I do want to say we are very proud of you for standing up for your family and your father. Are you all right?
I mean, obviously I'm upset from what's happened today.
Oh. Can someone fetch him some seltzer, please? And anything, please?
If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go see my father now.
You're not gonna do that. Your hand brushes around his spirit. It's like, yeah. Not. And like, it doesn't hurt me, but also it's very rude. You kind of like stumble walk up the stairs, maybe crawling the last couple steps. It's spinning. Your home's spinning. It's rough. And you can like look down, and there are at the far end of the hallway. There are 2 Azorius guardsmen kind of like stationed outside of your father's study.
Okay. I'm just gonna like go over to them.
And you
just
get
go
about halfway
through.
down the hallway, and Kalam kind of like
Yeah.
pulls up
Yeah.
from the ground and just goes, I really wouldn't suggest that this... okay.
Put my fingers
Okay.
like through his lips.
really, really edging on like the point of just being rude and intruding. You know what? Make your own wrong decisions.
Thank you.
And he just kind of like goes back on the floor. These fucking mortal humans.
Yeah.
I just get like it eventually disappears as he goes through the floor.
So I just like try to walk past them. Evening, gentlemen. Good. Glad you're here, keeping us safe.
Pardon, sir. Oh. Can we? I don't. Like Lavinia told us not. But like he's his son. I don't know if we like. Look, are you going to be the one to tell him that? Yeah, but like he's so drunk, you can smell him from like here. I know. It's. And finally you hear a knock on the door. And finally they're just like. Okay. And they just kind of like step aside to either side.
Oh, I didn't realize you were actually gonna let me go. Okay, I stumble into my father's study.
You see he's like on his way walking back from the door, be like, well, that didn't exactly go as planned. Oh, good lord.
Daddy, I have
Sit down.
I have good news.
Please think carefully of the words that you're about to say to me.
I know who did it.
Oh, please, tell me.
Do you not believe me, Daddy?
Oh, please, tell me.
He's a Rakdos street performer, and his name is Darrison LeMay.
Oh no.
I'm going to kill him for you.
Yes, a simple Rakdos street performer did all of this.
I tried tonight, but he got away from me.
Oh, did he
Had him.
now?
It was this close.
Well, you caught many other things, it seems. And he just kind of like gives you a once over as you pick up a... You managed to catch those.
You know what? You're kind of an asshole.
And she goes, oh.
I'm trying to help you and our whole family, and you're being kind of an asshole to me right now.
Yes, you're right. I am.
Well then, at least you know.
Maybe if you actually gave me something that was worthy of action or respect or, you know, trust.
Do you not believe me? I've been like having drinks with this guy and getting stabbed with this guy, and he was the dude who did it.
Oh, so you went out after people threatened and attacked our home and got drunk with the people who did this to us and just happened to believe that that was the person who did it. That guy, because he said it. Because he poured you a drink.
Well, no.
Guards, this man is in my room and he's not admissible according to Lavinia outside. I don't want to disobey her rulings or the writs of the Azorius, and I need him removed from my quarters at once.
But Daddy. I like
Guards!
tear up.
They like open the doors and like kind of like they don't like pick you up off the chair, but they like kind of like stand in front of it and they're like just.
No, I like make a scene and like make them drag me out. Like, you have to listen to me. I know how to fix this.
They eventually do drag you out. Your father not saying any other words. As the doors close, Kalam kind of like comes up from the floor. It's just like, "Did you like that?" you like what you saw in there? Did you enjoy that?
No.
Did you enjoy making him do that for you?
You know what, Kalam? You've always been such a good friend, and I appreciate that about you.
That's because I'm above your father, and I'm allowed to be. Now,
Well,
do you want to do something for this family, or do you want to continue trying to grovel at his feet? They won't be there that much longer, it seems.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I stutter? Here. And he kind of holds up his hand, and a kind of like ghostly spectral bit of parchment kind of just pours out from it. And he kind of like holds out his hand, and there's a bit of a kind of like a spectral dagger or a blade kind of pointing off it. He goes, prick your finger. Do it. There's like a little bit of blood drip. He goes, no. On here, and you kind of like drip it on, and it drips onto the paper, and it kind of like swirls down, and you couldn't see words before, but it starts to kind of like pour over, and at the very bottom you see where it once said, you can't make out a lot of the like main reading here, but at the very bottom it says Lucian Zilzaxos, and as the blood pours over it, a little like Roman numeral for like the second appears at the very end of it, and you can see the blood continue to drip down, and it spells out the names of the current reigning members of the Ghost Council. He goes, well, their desires are made apparent.
So I like take a second and I like sober up a little bit, and I'm like, I'm sorry. What does this mean?
Oh, it means they would like you to be next in line for the seat.
But what does that mean for my father?
Kind of like closes his hand, and the spectral parchment just kind of like flitters away. He's like, I guess we'll have to see what happens.
What does that mean?
He just goes, well, you're a smart man. Keep your wits about you. Do as you're told. Do as I and they tell you. And we'll see. And just casually floats down the hallway, slowly sinking into the floor as he goes.
Okay.
The next day, everybody awakens.
I want to get up early and prepare something for my friends when they get here.
Oh, of course you do.
Okay. So you head out and start trying to go shopping a little bit and trying to gather what you can. Thone, as you awaken, you actually are, as you're kind of like getting ready to head back to meet up with everybody, you're actually met by Selene once again, and a dryad woman who you have not seen before. Kind of like beautiful, like cherry wood bark skin, kind of like glistening in the sun, just kind of like beautiful summer-leaved hair just billowing down her back. Following along aside him, seemingly keeping stride with this wolf rider just on her own.
Nice.
And she goes, is this the man that you were telling me of, Selene? And she goes, yes, absolutely. This is Thone. He's the one who was at the ceremony yesterday to be honored. She goes, of course, of course. Thank you. Introductions. Hello. I am Sarai. I am the Voda of the Ladev Guardians.
Oh, it's an honor.
I wanted to reach out to the persons responsible for representing our wishes and the wishes of Mount Selesnya in all of the matters going on here in Ravnica. You've done a beautiful job of maintaining peace and order while still standing as a symbol of strength.
Well, thank you. I very much believe that that's what Selesnya should represent above all, is peace.
Of course. We agree. Ours may be a powerful and more militant-minded Voda, but we do want you to know that our Venati stand with you, and we are here by your side, and we recognize all that you have done. You may not be a part of us, but we respect you, and we will support you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. I hope that all together we will be able to work to stop this gross infringement on our territory.
She kind of like holds up a hand and not even like moving a muscle an inch. Selene just kind of like lifts her up onto the back of the wolf rider. She goes, "We'll stay in touch." And they kind of like head off. Korak, you are awoken amidst your family by the Great Mother, who finds you at dawn, and says that she has something that she wishes to show you, wishes to help you partake of.
Okay.
She goes, as you begin walking, she goes, "I understand that we are not of the same clans ourselves, but we of the Zertar believe that true unity amongst the Gruul is what will make us thrive, and will make those outside of us see us for who we truly are, powerful beacons of what Ravnica once was and will eventually be again."
Of course, as we all know, the great boar will return.
You
and
speak well,
bring
Ilhag.
bring us back to our normality.
Thank you for speaking such. Here, and she kind of gestures, and she's led you to a small encampment. The fire from the embers, still brighter than the sun at this point, as this is like straight dawn, still kind of getting up. And you see there a Viashino of your clan, the Scab clan, there amidst the fire, preparing kind of like the tools for tattooing and piercing. She says, "I have spoken with this one here, and we have agreed to give you a new skin brand, showing your unity between the Zertar and the Scab clan here that you represent."
You honor me greatly. Something I don't think I deserve.
I think you do. You have shown great strength and great resolve. We understand that you fight your demons in your battles, but all Gruul will overcome those beasts and will ride alongside them one day. It isn't enough to kill the beasts. It's another thing altogether to tame it and make it yours.
That is, you're correct.
And they begin along the back shoulder, begin giving you a skin brand, a series of piercings and tattoos that kind of melds the lesser known symbols of the Scab clan and the Zertar together in one, with the spiritual symbol of Ilhag, the raised boar, placed above it, kind of like watching over it there. You all begin to arise. Amiri has not made it in yet.
Okay.
That day. You can choose to wait for her. You can head back to check in with everybody back at Alicia's as you wish.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to Alicia's. I don't care about it.
Oh, wow.
So everybody slowly starts making their way there. It's a little bit of a staggered time, but Darrison, you are the first there to arrive. And as you do, you can actually see a number of the companions actually carrying each other out from the establishment.
Everybody crashed there.
And a number of them have the electrical burns and scars along them.
Ooh. Ooh.
What happened?
They came while you were gone. I think she's fine. I'm not sure. We tried to destroy as many as we...
I push him out of the way. I run inside. most of you kind of staggeringly watch as you are arriving.
Darrison running back into the establishment as you see more injured start to come out from it. As you do, you can actually see a number of the stronger men and women of the companions, the more well-built ones, hurling pieces of thopter from the top balcony, second floor banisters out into the streets below, just chucking them out of this building.
I'm gonna, my hand at the ready, go up towards.
As you
Alicia.
head inside, you see a few of the companions and folks rousing from unconsciousness, presumably from this. You can see overturned tables and chairs, and you see a number of folks with scars and burns from the electrical stun batons, and more wreckage of destroyed thopters at your feet. And you can see Alicia there, heavy burn scar along her right arm from the electrical burns, but still standing and just kind of like surveying and kind of like giving orders to everybody. She goes, "Oh, I thought,
How?
I thought you were upstairs when it attacked. Are you alright? Did it get you?
Yes, are you?
Did any of them-
How?
I don't know. They,
Are you okay? Are you hurt?
we're fine. We're fine.
Does she look hurt?
Like she's hurt. Like she's been attacked by them, but
Okay.
she is standing.
I'm gonna grab her where I'm gonna like lightly place my hands where the burns are. I'm saying, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do this where it doesn't hurt, and I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on her.
Okay.
And like,
You guys.
that's an 8.
Oh, I'm so
Plus
proud of you.
my
Plus your charisma.
spellcasting. Yeah, which is my charisma. So 11.
11? Oh, come on. And you can kind of like what you all like start making your way inside. Cora kind of like leaving the helm, ready to fight. But everything is kind of like calm,
I'm
even
just
though it's all
casually
kind of like destroyed. Are you kind of like just casually walking?
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
just
checking
casually
things?
just strolling around and just looking, going, yep. Not saying that, but just thinking.
Thinking,
that.
yeah. I think we're fine. I don't know.
How? They don't know who I am. They don't know it was me.
He must have
You don't know
tracked
it was
our
you?
people. I'm not sure. Everything's such a blur.
This doesn't make sense. You weren't connected to this. This isn't fair. Who was it? Just the machines? Were there people
I
here?
don't. It was just machines. It was just those things.
Can I start looking around at any of the machines for the vials, like that record the memories?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
And can I like shout out to whoever's still like throwing stuff out? Like look for bottles with the strands, and like start
Go for
like
it.
try to get them to help me look for something. 13 investigation
Mhm.
is plus 1. No, it's plus 0. It's 13.
13. You managed to find amidst them, and looking at all the pieces, it looks like there were probably 6 to 8 thopters here. And you managed to find 2 still maintained vials of the memory strands within them, within the wreckage. Everything else looks like it's been just wrecked. What are y'all doing?
I'm just slightly hungover and just looking at everything, just understanding like the gravity of what's going on, and just being very quiet and very just solemn.
I'm solemn, but as I like see everything turned over, I almost have like a small half smile as I see like everything that's happened. Like, but not in like an like I enjoy this way, like an of course way. Like of course this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Thome's just sad about everything. All this destruction, just for people trying to be honest with each other. He steps on a few thopters.
There you go.
I think our buddy has either found out what happened or has decided to raid every known Rakdos location
Can I
after last night.
I'm gonna talk to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy.
How do they? It doesn't matter how. Are you safe here? I can get you away. I can take you to Tilly. We can.
I
I
love
can
you.
get you out of here.
Never make me that offer.
We're not
I'll be
safe.
fine. We are fine. And you see more performers kind of like carrying the devices down from the second floor and the third floor in just pieces and chucking them out into the street.
I'm staying with you.
She goes,
Wherever you go. This can't happen again.
thank you for worrying for me. But please, whether it's alive or whether it's dead, go get the son of a bitch who did this to us. And that's where we'll leave things this evening. Thank you all so much for checking things out. We had some awesome new followers this evening. Thank you, Jacobianto, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Morbid Mindset 666 for following us this evening through our stream. We hope you guys really enjoyed this tense episode, as a lot of the loose ends from the past couple episodes have kind of come to a head in our hunt for the man behind all of this, Matisse Erkovitz. And we will kind of pick things back up right there as he's kind of played his hand and made it known, and kind of come directly after the party with his terrifying mechanical devices. So we will see where that leads and what the party decides to do in retaliation against him next week. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us. Again, we stream every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our show, thus now named Renegades of Ravnica Gilded Lies, here on the Color Guards Twitch channel. We hope y'all have a fantastic night. We hope you have an even better Pride Month. And thank y'all so much for tuning in with us this evening. Have a good night.